Hi everyone. In this video module, we are going to learn about a very important parasite, namely Echinococcus granulosus. First and foremost, guys, let me decode the name Echinococcus granulosus. The word Echinococcus is made up of two words, echinos, which means a hedgehog or a sea urchin, and coccus means berry. Now, guys, have a look at this. This is a hedgehog and this is a sea urchin. Can you notice anything common between both of these creatures? They have got these spine-like structures arising from their head, and that is precisely why the name Echinococcus was given to this parasite, because the head has got spine-like structures which are known as hooklets. And as far as granulosus is concerned, the meaning of the word granulosus is small grain or granulated, and this refers to the appearance of the larval form of this parasite, and the name of the larval form is hydatid cyst. All of this we are going to learn about this parasite. Now, I said it's a parasite. What exact type of parasite is it? Remember, this fellow Echinococcus granulosus is a flatworm. Precisely, it is a cystode. Okay. Now, guys, how do we classify parasites? The parasites can be classified as protozoa, which are always unicellular, and then we have got helminths, which belong to animal kingdom, and they are multicellular. Now, the adults, in case of helminths, they are obviously, macroscopic. They are not microscopic, but we still learn about, helminths in microbiology. Why? Because the larvae and eggs of these helminths, they are microscopic. For visualization of these larvae and eggs, we need the help of a microscope. Okay. Now, helminths also are of two types: roundworms, which are also known as nemathelminths. They basically have got this cylindrical structure. They have got a proper body cavity, and then we have got another type of helminths which are known as flatworms, also known as platyhelminths. Okay, flatworms or platyhelminths. As the name implies, flatworms are going to be dorso-ventrally flat, and amongst the flatworms, that is the platyhelminths, which obviously from an evolution point of view are inferior to roundworms, because roundworms have got a proper body cavity. So because they have got a proper body cavity, there is more space so as to allow the development of organs and organ systems. So from an evolution point of view, roundworms or nemathelminths are more developed as compared to the flatworms. And in flatworms, we have got two important categories, namely cystodes and trematodes. Okay, cystodes and trematodes, both of them are flatworms. The difference is that cystodes have got a segmented body, and the body segments are known as proglottids. So proglottids are the name of the body segments, whereas trematodes have got an unsegmented body. And the parasite we are learning about in this video module is a cystode, that is Echinococcus. And Echinococcus granulosus, by the way, is also known as dog tapeworm. Remember, a common name of a cystodes is tapeworms. Okay. Now, guys, have a look at this. This is a schematic representation of Echinococcus granulosus. Now, look at this. It has got a head or a scolex. Head को और क्या बोलते हो? Scolex, which is pyriform in shape, and it has got a projection arising from its surface. That is, the head or the scolex has got a projection. The name of the projection is rostrum. Rostrum का मतलब होता है beak. Beak, you all know, it is the pointed part arising from the mouth of birds. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे भी the head, which is pyriform, has got a beak like structure. उसको क्या बोलते हैं? Rostrum. And it is decorated with 2 rows of hooklets, and that is why, because of the presence of these hooklets, the genus name Echinococcus was given, which I have already explained. Okay, so below the head is present what? Another structure, namely the neck. Now consider neck as a manufacturing factory of proglottids or body segments. So neck is basically going to produce the body segments in cystodes, all cystodes. Okay. So in case of Echinococcus granulosus specifically, there are only 3 body segments. One is the immature body segment or the immature proglottid, and it is followed by the mature proglottid and then the gravid proglottid. Okay. Obviously, because the neck is the manufacturing factory of proglottids, the proglottid which is nearest to the neck has to be immature, followed by the mature and then the gravid proglottid. Okay. So total 3 segments or proglottids are there in Echinococcus granulosus, and remember the size of this worm is also very small. This is a very small worm, just 3 to 6 millimeters. So remember the buzz number 3. 3 segments होते हैं and 3 से 6, 3 to 6 millimeter is the size of Echinococcus granulosus. All right. And remember the flatworms, look at this. The flatworms are hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites. Okay. The only exception in this case are the schistosomes. Schistosomes, which are nothing but blood flukes. Okay. Remember S for schistosomes, S for separate sexes. This has been asked as an AIMS question before the INICD exam was devised. Please remember this. Also remember guys, the head, apart from having rostrum which is decorated with the 2 rows of hooklets, it has got suckers also. There are 4 muscular suckers present which help in attachment to the intestine. Okay. Have a look at this guys. This is how it looks like. Echinococcus granulosus actually, looks like. This is a very good electron microscopic picture. यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो, there is a head with these, round structures. These are nothing but the, suckers, and you can see the rostrum. There is the neck and the 3 segments, immature, mature, and the gravid segment. And look at this. These are the beautiful suckers, and this is the, the rows of the hooklets which are present on the rostrum. Now guys, Echinococcus granulosus is known as dog tapeworm because dogs are the definitive host of this parasite. Dogs and other canines are the definitive host, but the most important ones are dogs. Okay? So the definitive host are dogs and other canines, and the intermediate host are sheep, the most important one, and other herbivores may also serve as the intermediate host. Definitive host is the one in which the sexual cycle of the parasite takes place, and in the intermediate host, the asexual cycle takes place. Now, always remember that the intermediate host, that is sheep, is going to harbor what? It is going to carry or harbor the larval form of the parasite, and the name of the larval form or the larva is what? It is known as hydatid cyst. Hydatid cyst. So, this parasite basically is the business between the dogs and the sheep. Then why are we learning about it? We, that is humans, must learn about it because we, that is humans, can end up being the accidental intermediate hosts. Now guys, have a look at this. झूठ बोलना बुरी बात है, नहीं बोलना चाहिए. ठीक है. So this doodle about this individual who has a habit of lying, imagine this is somebody who is a pathological liar. ठीक है. तो आपने बचपन में ये कहानी सुनी होगी कि एक बच्चा था, वो झूठ बोलता था, उसकी नाक बड़ी होती गई. तो इन दैट इज द रेफरेंस ऑफ दिस डूडल. ठीक है. तो ये डूडल मैंने क्यों बनाया है? बिकॉज आई वॉन्ट माई स्टूडेंट्स टू रिमेंबर फ्यू इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स अबाउट सिस्टोड्स फ्रॉम दिस वर्ड LIE. तो क्या हम याद कर सकते हैं? देखो, L से लार्वा, I से इंटरमीडिएट होस्ट, E से एग. इंटरमीडिएट होस्ट के टिश्यूज में कौन प्रेजेंट होता है? द लार्वा. तो intermediate host has got larval form, that is hydatid cyst in its tissues. क्या है intermediate host? It is the sheep. ठीक है. So remember, L for larva, L for lives on. तो larva lives on or lives inside the body or the tissues of the intermediate host. And How does intermediate host become infected with this parasite? By eating the eggs. So the eggs, e say egg, e say eat, so eggs are eaten, that is eggs are the infective form for the intermediate host. So this is just a little memorizing tip for all of you to remember these important things. Now let's understand the story of this parasite which is happening between the intermediate host, that is the sheep, and the dog, that is the definitive host. Okay. So as per the rule I have told, the intermediate host, that is sheep, is going to harbor what? The larval form, that is the hydatid cyst. Let me use the short form HC for the larval form, that is the hydatid cyst. When this sheep dies, dog is going to eat the sheep. Okay. So dog ingests what? Dog is going to basically ingest the larval form, that is the hydatid cyst. Now, in the dog's intestine, what has arrived now? Who has arrived? The larva. L say larva. Now, larva will develop eventually into what? The adults. So, A say adults. And once adults attain sexual maturity, there is going to be fertilization. Okay, fertilization. And as a result of fertilization, मतलब fertilization के फलस्वरूप क्या होगा? Eggs will be produced. So the dog's feces will have the eggs. So the dog will pass out eggs in its feces. Okay. So dog's intestine में cycle is very very simple. Remember it just like this, LAF. एक तो होता है laugh मतलब हंसना, LAUGH. ठीक है, मैंने बस spellings थोड़े इसके tweak कर दिए. हमारे लिए एक और laugh है, and that laugh is LAF. L to A से A to F. L से larva, larval develop करेगा to become adults, and adults eventually after sexual maturity, fertilization they will undergo, and as a result of that eggs are going to be produced. So ये सब कुछ कहाँ हो रहा है? Dog के intestine में. So dog के feces में क्या present होगा? The eggs. Now what did we learn before? That for the intermediate host, egg is the infective form. So imagine the sheep, which is the, let's take another sheep, and there is another innocent sheep. Innocent meaning this sheep is not yet infected with the parasite. Now this innocent sheep eats the eggs. ये वाले eggs ये ingest कर लेती है, right? So the mode of infection for the intermediate host is the ingestion, and the infective form is the egg. Now let's learn a few important facts about the egg. Egg of Echinococcus granulosus. Now guys, as a general rule, please always remember that the eggs of most of these cystodes have got an embryo which has got 6 hooklets like this. Okay, so this embryo which has got 6 hooklets, these spine-like structures or hooklets, such an embryo is known as what? Such an embryo is known as hexacanth embryo. Hexacanth embryo. It is also known as oncosphere. The hexacanth embryo or oncosphere is surrounded by a layer, namely embryophore. So embryophore surrounds this special kind of an embryo. Why it is special? Because it has got these 6 hooklets. Therefore, it is known as hexacanth embryo. So remember, hooklets जो हैं egg के अंदर भी हैं, and hooklets कहाँ पे थी? Adults के सर पे भी बैठी हुई थी. The rostrum was decorated with 2 rows of hooklets. ठीक है? So what happens when the sheep eats these kind of eggs? When the eggs are ingested, they are going to hatch in the intestine. Hatch in the intestine of the sheep. Okay, so as a result of egg hatching, the hexacanth embryo is going to be released, and with the help of its spine like structures, that is the 6 hooklets, it will pierce the gut wall. So the embryo pierces the gut wall of the sheep, enters the bloodstream, and eventually settles in the tissues, and in the tissues it undergoes development to finally form what? The larval forms. The larval form known as what? Known as hydatid cyst. Known as hydatid cyst. See, this is what we learned before from this doodle. So remember, in the intermediate host, the larvae are settled or deposited in the tissues. Okay. So this is the story between what? This is the story between dog and sheep. So So guys, as I said before, we, that is humans, the human beings, we can become the accidental, accidental intermediate host. And how can we become the intermediate host? By eating the eggs. By eating the eggs, because for the intermediate host, the infective form is the egg and the mode of infection is what? Ingestion, just like happens in case of sheep. So when a human eats the eggs, what is going to happen? The egg hatches in the gut, precisely in the duodenum of the human beings. Okay? The embryo 4 will be dissolved to release what? The hexacanth embryo. So the hexacanth embryo, which has got these 6 hooklets, it is going to be released. It then penetrates the gut wall, enters the portal circulation, and goes to the liver, where the hydatid cyst, that is the larval form, is going to be formed. In 60 to 70% of the cases, the most common site of development of the larval form, that is hydatid cyst, in case of humans is what? Liver. This is extremely important to be remembered. Okay? But obviously we are going to be the dead end host. You know why? Obviously because nobody is going to feed on human meat, unlike in case of sheep, where dogs and other canines can feed on the sheep. A host immune response will be, initiated against these oncospheres. In some cases, what happens? The oncosphere is successfully removed and no hydatid cyst formation will take place. But in some other cases, the host immune response fails and an inflammatory reaction is set up. An inflammatory reaction around the oncosphere is initiated, and eventually what we get is, we get the transformation of this oncosphere into what? Into the hydatid cyst. Okay, hydatid cyst. And as I said, the most common site, MC means most common, the most common site of hydatid cyst formation in humans is the liver, comprising of 60 to 70% of the cases, and that to the right lobe of the liver. What is the second most common site? The second most common site are the lungs, comprising of 20 to 30% of the cases of hydatid disease. Please do remember that the deposition of the larval form, the deposition of HC, that is hydatid cyst, or the larval form in the tissues, is referred to as what? It is known as hydatid disease. Okay, hydatid disease in humans. All right. So the most common site of hydatid disease in humans is what? Liver. Second most common site are the lungs, comprising of 20 to 30% of all cases of hydatid disease, and very rare sites include what? Spleen, kidney, both of which together comprise of 3 to 5% of the cases. Then remember dimag or dil, that is brain and heart, both of them comprise of 1.5 to, both of them comprise 1 to 1.5% of the cases. And very, very rarely bones may also be involved. Okay, but please do remember the most common site, that is liver, and the second most common site, that is the lungs. Now coming to the clinical features, remember most of the infections are actually asymptomatic. Thanks to the immune system, the host immune response is able to successfully get rid of the oncosphere, so no larval formation occurs. But in other cases, larval formation occurs most commonly in the liver. Now, what can be the clinical features? What clinical features can we expect? Because liver is the most common target of this worm. So larval formation, that is hydatid cyst formation in the liver, can lead to two outcomes. And accordingly, we will have two types of clinical features. So increasing size of the cyst will lead to what? It can lead to pressure symptoms. Pressure symptoms, for instance, recurrent attacks. Recurrent attacks of cholecystitis, okay? Hepatomegaly, pain abdomen, other pressure symptoms जैसे कि portal hypertension, ascites, all of these can occur. Okay, and then the size increase may be so tremendous that the cyst may even rupture. So rupture of the cyst can also occur, which can lead to anaphylaxis, because the hydatid cyst has got a very allergic fluid present in it. This is the schematic representation of the larval form, namely the hydatid cyst. Hydatid is a Greek word which means watery vesicle, basically a vesicle which is filled with, some fluid. All right. So in the hydatid cyst, that is the larval form of Echinococcus granulosus, if we go from outside to inside, we have got three layers. First layer is pericyst, which is produced as a result of the, host immune response, and it is composed of blood vessels, as you can see over here, and fibroblasts. Inner to it is present the ectocyst. Now guys, ectocyst is an acellular laminated hyaline layer. It is a tough, elastic, glycan rich layer, and it is roughly 1 millimeters thick, and it resembles the white of a hard boiled egg. Further inner to it, we have got the endocyst, which is also known as the germinal layer. Okay, as the name implies, germinal layer kya karegi? It will, germinate into something. It will give rise to something. So on the inner side of the endocyst, you have got these structures, namely the brood capsules. ठीक है, brood का literal meaning क्या होता है? To warm up or to hatch, and capsule is a, capsule comes from a Latin word capsula, which means a box. So brood capsules are these, round structures which you are seeing, and इनके अंदर you can see some, these brownish things. These are nothing but protoscoleces. तो ये brown चीजें क्या दिख रही हैं हमारे को? All of these are protoscoleces. स्कोलेक्स का मतलब होता है हेड, स्कोलिसिस मतलब मल्टीपल हेड्स, प्रोटोस्कोलिसिस मतलब प्रिमिटिव हेड्स. सो इन फ्यूचर फ्रॉम दीज प्रोटोस्कोलिसिस व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी प्रोड्यूस्ड? द प्रॉपर मैच्योर हेड्स और स्कोलिसिस. ठीक है, सो द ब्रूड कैप्सूल्स आर गोइंग टू कंटेन दीज प्रोटोस्कोलिसिस. All right, so here is the stalk, and in some books they just simply write scolex instead of writing protoscolex. The technically correct description is protoscolesis. Okay, and then we have got something called as hydatid sand. Hydatid sand kya hota hai? Hydatid sand is nothing but the deposition of these brood capsules and the protoscolesis at the bottom of the cyst if they get detached from the endocyst. So अगर ये detach होके bottom पे settle हो गए, हम उसे क्या बोल देते हैं? Hydatid sand. So these three layers you should remember which are there in the larval form, and not just these layers. Remember, hydatid cyst, that is the larval form, also has got what? Hydatid cyst has got a highly allergic fluid inside it. तो इसमें एक fluid present होता है. Remember the literal meaning मैंने क्या बताया hydatid word का? Watery vesicle. So it has got a fluid which is highly allergic. This fluid has got a low specific gravity, and it has got salts like sodium chloride, sodium phosphate, sodium sulfate, and sodium succinate. ठीक है, this fluid is colorless to pale yellow, and because this fluid is highly allergic, and that is why when I was talking about the clinical features, I mentioned that in case the hydatid cyst ruptures, it will lead to anaphylaxis, that is type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. So please remember this.